Welcome Ninja 400 owners. This is Bart coming at you from TSD Industries in Florida. I have a tech tip video for you guys out there. We've gotten a lot of reports from customers who have purchased our frame slider sets for this Ninja 400 from areas where they apparently have an evap canister mounted to the bike via a bracket that comes from the factory. It looks like this, and there is interference between our components and this evap canister and its valve mounted to the bike. So in this tech tip video, I will be going over some of the steps and tips for you guys so that you can be successful at actually mounting our frame sliders to the bike and using that evap canister. This is an essential part of your EPA compliance system on the bike. If you want to stay street legal, you must retain this. So we discourage people from removing these things if you're going to continue to use the bike on the street. And this is why we've made this tech tip video. In essence, we developed these components for most of the market out there. Most of these bikes come without the evap canister or this system. And also, this is a trickle down setup that we designed for track use. As you can see, we use this on a race bike here and some other race bikes that we've built. This is a no compromise sort of a setup. It ties together all the strongest components of the frame so that if you have a get off, you go down and this enables you to slide across the ground, not dig in and flip the bike over, and you've distributed the stress among many areas where this is bolted into. So this is why we designed it the way we did. Kawasaki designed a slightly different setup where it's a single point unit braced to one of these tubes. We've seen this setup cause damage to the actual frame, so we wanted to pick up 2 points, but in effect, we designed a system that now interferes with this evap canister that's present in, I believe, California, maybe Canada, a couple other markets. So anyway, I'm done yapping here. Let's get started. Since we do not have the bikes that come with these evap canisters in our market, I'm just gonna have to simulate with the parts that I've purchased from an external source to show you what it sort of looks like on the bike. And then I will require you guys to take photos of your hose routing and plug routing for this valve before you dismantle everything. The actual carrier bracket for the canister attaches to a boss that is part of this bracket here. This is a race bike, so we've ground that boss off, but there is a screw here, and if you're removing this set of components off the bike, you'll see that there. There's also, on the bikes that have this part, there's a threaded insert in here. That's where the other screw holds this setup to the bike. So you'll remove that. We will ditch the bracket. If you just remove the rubber strap, this will come off. And then there's a 10mm nut here. We will remove that nut. We'll not be reusing it, so I'll just put that to the side along with the other parts of the bracket and the strap. Now we've extracted our canister and the valve. And again, we are going to reconfigure these components somewhat, so keep track of the routing and where all these hoses go to. You will be responsible for getting those hoses back to where they went, and those pictures I asked you guys to take will guide you in exactly where they go. All right, so on the bracket that mounts our slider to the frame, you'll see these two holes. We have those pre-drilled in here during one of the operations that manufactures this part. Originally, this was meant for the remount of the rectifier for race applications. It takes the rectifier from within here in the crash zone and protects it here. This will also serve as our mounting point for the canister. So I'm gonna get the canister and all this stuff in from underneath. That's the easiest way to place it. The cap looking feature on the canister goes to the bottom and the hoses go to the top. I have no way of knowing where these hoses go to at the moment. So I'm just going to simulate roughly the direction they go. All right. So now we are capable of mounting all these components here. And this valve originally sits behind the canister right in this area. So the connector for it should be long enough to reach this area. If it's not, you may just need to alter how that part of the loom goes into the harness and take it back a little bit to give more access. But I'm pretty confident that this will work just as is. All right, so now, since we have those two holes here, I'm gonna use wire ties, but I'm gonna double up the wire ties. So one will go through here, and the other one will pick up from there and go around the canister. If you have long enough wire ties, then you probably won't have to double them up. All right, we'll get this pretty tight and use friction to lock it in place somewhat. And then we'll overlap this valve here, like so, and making sure that we don't kink any of these hoses. If you kink any of these hoses, it renders them inoperable. So we want to make sure we don't do that. I'll grab a couple more cable ties here. I'm going to go around the valve body, around one of the hoses here, and around the frame member. This way we are holding the actual valve to the hose to the frame. And if we place this wire tie under this threaded stud that comes out of this valve body, this will hold it in place and not permit it to slide down. Again, we tightened that up nicely. That's pretty secure. This is now pretty secure. Over time, vibration may have it come down and sink. So it'll be prudent to go around in this direction. Again, I'm gonna need to double up because I don't have a long enough wire tie here. And there is a radiator hose on the backside. This guy here routes through the backside there. You don't want to clamp around that. You want to make sure that you are clear of any of those components back there. So make sure that the wire tie actually only contacts the body of the canister. All right, it's looking pretty good there. Tighten down on that rear one. All right, now we just cut off the excess, mush this guy around a little bit, make sure that it doesn't have too much freedom to move. And this is pretty much done. I would plug in the connector for this component here, maybe move it around if there's not enough clearance between that and the fairings, but fairings here are pretty far off the frame, so should be good to go. And give that a whirl. I think this is an appropriate solution to this problem. Like I said in the intro, these parts were developed as part of our race program to have a no compromise slider system for crashes. We learned later that there is a model out there in California and several other areas that has these parts, and we had to retrofit a solution for it. So we didn't actually go ahead and make any brackets because this is a acceptable solution that is not seen by the eye. If there is enough demand out there, maybe one day we'll roll out with a bracket system, but that's just, most of our customers buy this for the race setting, so I don't think that's actually gonna be the case. We're gonna test this out, see how you guys do with this method. Let us know by dropping us a comment, and other than that, good luck and ride safe. See you later.